But yeah, dude, combine yesterday. Combine the entire week last week was pretty impressive. The combine 40 record was broken by Worthy, the wide receiver from Texas. Did you get what you need in there?
Yeah, I need to get
Get that little swirl.
Yeah, I get
And boys starting to get separated, huh?
Yeah, I had to get it back together.
Can we pull that little clip up real quick? Can we pull that clip up of Worthy and just watch
running the
a
4-2-2?
master at work? Yes, 4-2-1, I believe was his official time.
That is so crazy.
That's nuts, dude. And there's fast, and then there's track fast. This man, Xavier Worthy, is track fast, and he knew what he was going to do too. Everyone knew, even those boys from Texas were like, "Just watch you. We'll just wait till X runs." The best part is when
the crowd erupted.
I know, 16,000 people were in that stadium to watch.
Is today the first year that they did that? Or they let
they did it last
fans
year too.
And people attend?
They did it last year too. So I was obviously there with the offensive lineman there. We'll just say it went from 16,000 to 1,600 people. Like it was very
1,600 to 16,000.
No, it went from 16,000 watching the wide receivers to 1,600 watching the offensive linemen.
Oh,
the offensive linemen now go last.
Yeah.
But
the Hogs, man.
The Hogs.
Not a lot of love for the Hogs. You want to see speed.
You want to see speed. You want to talk about quarterbacks, Rich Eisen, Daniel Jeremiah, those two individuals during the Hogs workout. We're talking about how great J.J. McCarthy's workout is and how he's a sleeper of the draft and how incredible that guy's going to be in the NFL. If you want a quarterback, you want to get excited about a quarterback, get excited about the offensive line as well. Because your quarterback's going to be nothing without a good offensive line, boys and girls. Okay? He will be absolutely
I see
nothing.
You trying to pump the Hogs, man.
I'm just saying, dude, these guys need a little bit more respect. And I don't know. Did you watch the combine yesterday? Were you
I watched
were you
the
fully
combine.
invested?
Not fully invested.
Yeah.
No.
So during the 40s, the offensive lineman running the 40s, these cats. This is the fastest one.
The fastest 40 for O line was 4.92. Yeah, like 4.92.
Yeah, I think there was only 5 guys that were under 5 this year. But at one point in the second group, I was down watching I was like standing right here off to the side in the end zone area, watching these guys. And there's about 10 dudes left, and 4 or 5 guys, it seemed like, went down with hamstrings or soft tissue issues.
Gotta get the soft tissue.
One dude pulled his hammy, and then all of a sudden started limping. And then his other knee kind of buckled. So I was like, I hope that didn't get way worse than it should have been. Which leads me to, in 2014, when your boy was at the combine, offensive linemen and the big boys got there first. Like offensive linemen, defensive linemen, and the injured guys got there first.
Yeah.
And started working through the process. And you're there for 4 days, and on the 5th day, you run. I think they should go back to, even though we all know why the NFL is now putting the fast guys first, because the ratings are better and everyone's tired by Sunday. It's God Day for a reason. Oh yeah, this is the big boy walking. Look at that, doing his Beyonce walk. Had a sock in my piece too, making it look a little bit bigger. You need to have these guys, the big boys, run first, because the soft tissue issues obviously were an issue. And then some people are even talking about getting rid of the 40 for offensive linemen in general. But now talking about just doing a 20.
Yeah, I think that's smart.
See, I don't like that. Before example A. Like a young Taylor Lewan would want to show how fast he is by running the entire 40.
Yeah, but then it goes to, it's like but if you're gonna risk the hamstring injury, it's like, why would you move the O lineman to the first just so they can be preventative on the hamstring injuries?
Yeah,
they don't put the asses in the seats.
They don't bring the asses in the seats, but guess what? Tomorrow, next day is open. Bring the wide receivers in the next day.
But for O-line,
do you put the finale? When you watch a fireworks show, do you watch the finale first where all the big booms are going off? Or do you like to watch a couple, get you warmed up a little bit?
A fireworks show only lasts probably 30 minutes in one singular day, not an entire week.
It's a 4 day.
So if they just did fireworks, like just 4 days in a row, just different sets, and they're just doing like the sparklers in the beginning, it's like no one's even going to watch that either.
Yeah, but then you would tune in for what?
Yeah, but you're not going to tune in anyway, and just until the fireworks are going, the big ones are going off.
Yeah, but if you're not going to tune in for the big guys regardless, what's wrong with putting the big guys first so that they can have the soft tissue issues worked out and then put in the real show? You could even have a pre-combine hosted by the Hogs. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's all kind of the same thing.
Or just take them out of the combine altogether.
Yeah, another big winner of the combine, Frank Crum, dude.
Hey, and not to mention, a fun little history fact, Taylor is the fastest 40 for guys over 6'6"
in history.
And if the 40 gets taken away, you own that record forever.
For life.
Was the fastest lineman over 6'6" or fastest guy over 6'6", just in general?
I think guy over 6'6".
Really?
Fastest.
How tall was Calvin Johnson?
That's exactly
well,
what
he and I, we were similar. We're similar comps. I'm pretty sure he was 6'5", no?
I don't know. We can look it up.
It might have been fastest offensive lineman over 6'6". Regardless, boys, the person sitting in this chair, thank you, holds a record in the NFL. Didn't see Joe Thomas on that list.
Didn't see Joe Thomas.
No. Which is
See
Joe
Trent
Thomas.
Williams on that list.
Might be guys. Might be guys just in general.
Might be guys.
Might
Only
be guys
6'5",
over
Calvin
6'6".
Johnson. Too short, Calvin. You're too little. Can't be in my Kelvin Benjamin.
How tall is didn't Armstead he run a fast 40?
Armstead ran a 4.72.
Quick. He might not be 6'6".
He ain't. He's like 6'5".
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah. So I would say, yeah, just take the 40 out. I don't see why the O linemen need to run 40s. They really
No.
don't.
Yeah.
I think it's as a fan, it's electric.
It's fun to watch
You see
dudes
some
run,
big
man.
old
It really
dudes
is
just
fun to
shoot.
watch all the drills that are timed. Who's gonna be the winner?
Keith Carter.
Did you shake hands with Keith? Say what's up? Did you give him
No,
a hug?
I didn't say hi to him. But there was never really like he was doing the drills, and then one time as I was kind of like going to do my next set of like the second group, he was there with a bunch of guys, and I just chose not to interrupt. Like, who am I if I'm going to talk trash about a guy to go up and be like, "Hey Keith, how are you? Good to see you." It's like I've obviously drawn a line in the sand with Keith. Like, I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of how it is. If he were to come to me, I would be cordial. Like, I don't have any bad blood towards Keith.
Right.
I would just say in the profession that I used to be in, I would not want him as my coach.
Yeah.
That's all I would say.
And that just is what it is.
It just is what it is. There's no disrespect.
Right.
It's just the game
Right.
we're playing.
We all get graded.
Yeah. It's very interesting and being at the combine or even at a pro day, Will, where the stresses
Wild shot. Out of
No, it's not a
nowhere.
wild shot. I'm just trying to bring you in the
Even a pro
conversation.
day,
I don't
Will.
want to be the guy that just talks the entire time. When you're doing your combine or your skills, the stress level that everybody has going into the 40, then going into the broad, vertical, short shuttle, 3-cone, all that stuff like is so high. And then being able to be 10, 11 years removed from the situation and kind of just walk out there and be chilling. It
Yeah.
is such
And know
a
that
wild
they're
different
all
feeling.
in like this mental warfare in the moment.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, this is what we trained for the last like 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah. There will be a
Get ready
couple
for
of
this
guys.
one time that they think this will get us drafted higher. Whereas in reality, they're just checking off, making sure you run.
So I try to tell some of the Michigan guys. Like, there was a bunch of dudes. It was a very cool experience because after the first group finished, and obviously all their stress was off their shoulders, a bunch of them, I would say like 20 dudes, like came up at once, and were
About
like
the boys.
about the boys, big fan of the pod, me playing and stuff like that. It was a very cool moment. Like one kid was like, "Yo, I used to watch you growing up in elementary school." I thought, what? Like
That's sick.
elementary school?
Yeah.
That's nuts. And so it's just cool. It's cool to see those things, but those dudes are just so focused, and then to be about the pod. But I was talking to those guys then, and they're like, I'm like, how'd you run? And they're like, hey, 5'2". And I was like, good, dude. Like, all you need to do in this situation is like, if your 10's under a 185 or whatever the benchmark is, and you bench over this many times, like you're just checking boxes. Like, leave the dudes that are freak athletes that are going to do the thing. Like, that's where they're going to gain. And some guys might do horrible and lose, but as long as you check a box, it's not going to hurt you.
Yeah, like
You're good to go.
Corum running, whether he ran a 5'9" or a 4.61, that doesn't really matter.
I think if Corum ran a 4.9, he'd be in big trouble.
4.59.
Oh yeah.
Like a 4.59 versus a 4.61, like that ultimately doesn't matter. That is just like wanting your ego to
right.
Like, oh, I ran a 4.5.
I know. Speaking of egos, dude, Luke McCaffrey outshining his brother Christian.
Edged him out.
He
made my all combine team.
Did he really?
Luke McCaffrey.
Do you want to give out your list now?
Yeah, weird. I have it pulled up. Cole Bishop, he's on the list for the all combine team. You got Luke McCaffrey, Peyton Wilson, linebacker, Braden Fisk, the D lineman out of Florida State, humming. He ran like a 4.7. And then Frank Crum out of Wyoming. He had the mullet flowing. Those guys right now are on my all combine list. Spencer Radler, I have written down. He's kind of a maybe. It kind of depends. I'll get into that though. I'm trying to craft a blog right now.
No JJ McCarthy in that, huh?
JJ could possibly make it.
So
He's up there. He's on the short list.
Yeah, you're making a list right now. So you just gave people a peek at what the list would
That's
be
a
on
sneak
your
peek.
blog that is coming out.
Yeah,
And then I'm
that's a
assuming
sneak
this
peek.
week.
Yeah.
It'll come out
Yeah.
this week.
Today, which is Tuesday.
Wow. That's exciting stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
JJ apparently blew everybody away in the combine. The way he was throwing the ball.
Oh, yeah. The way, yeah. Same with Spencer Radler. Everybody was talking about how he was, how his footwork was. And, because a lot of it with quarterbacks, they say is like, you're used to throwing to whatever particular receiver you want to. Like at pro day, you're going to have your guys running routes. So different receivers and different guys and not really changing up your footwork and just dropping dimes. I saw some highlights of JJ. He did look good.
Yeah, he was putting some zip on the ball. One of the days that you're happy that JP is not here, which is far and few between, is today, because he would have only things to say about Spencer Radler.
Yeah, JP is like everything is going exactly according to what he said.
Yeah. I wonder if
Which right now his stock is rising.
Right.
Spencer Rattler's stock is rising.
one guy that this is up for, everybody else to interpret, but I did not get a good vibe from Caleb Williams throughout the combine process. I know a lot of backlash for the boy. He essentially came to the combine for the free gear in the interviews. Like he refused, only player in combine history not to do a medical review. Only dude, didn't run, didn't throw. His choosing not to throw was, hey, there's a lot of film on me. You can watch that in real action. Like I don't need to do that. So he essentially went there, and then I think he did one thing about sour gummies. Like him and some lady sat there and tried sour candy.
So he's essentially just went there and postured on everybody.
Postured on everybody.
Shocking.
And he's obviously an extreme talent. It's incredible how talented he is, but he's got this type of like I'm better than you attitude that he's coming off as. Now, if this is not the individual he is, he's more than welcome to come on the bus and explain himself. But what I saw from the short sample size I got of watching a few interviews on him on my way to the combine was, guy's very full of himself. He's got some big time yes people in his camp right now that are getting in his ear a little too much.
Mhm.
Like he needs that.
Honestly, his dad is really involved.
Yeah, he needs that.
Which is usually a red flag.
Who's it? Marcus Aurelius always had a guy behind him saying, "You're just a man."
Probably.
Okay, so for
Yeah.
those of you, the Roman Empire, Marcus Aurelius had a slave actually who was his only singular job was during his successes was to sit there behind him and whisper in his ear, "You're just a man," to keep him humble. Went on to being one of the greatest
Yeah, you're nothing
emperors
special.
of all time. Yeah, Caleb needs that man. He
Mhm.
needs that guy right now to be like, "Hey, listen, you still," because there was a point where people were saying he wanted equity or a percentage of the team he goes to.
Do we know if that's real? If that was real?
I don't know if that's real, but based on watching the interviews I did, I'm now gonna sit there and be like,
you wouldn't be
I can see
surprised.
that. I wouldn't be surprised at that at all.
Yeah.
So to me, not a great look. Like this is a game where no one's bigger than the team, right? The name on the front is more important than the name on the back type of attitude, and he is not displaying that right now. It's sometimes it's better just to fall in line. You can be different. You can go about your ways differently. Everybody does eventually, but at this point in your process, don't shoot yourself in the foot. This guy too, Joe Milton. And for those of you that aren't just watching the combine with us right now, Tennessee Cat threw an absolute rocket. What was it, like 75 yards, Jackie?
Bazooka Joe, man.
Bazooka.
That's about, yeah, I mean, that's, if you know Joe Milton for 2 seconds, that's his bread and butter, is the
Just
long
arm
ball.
strength?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the long ball.
It's not
I don't
accurate.
know how he's going to perform in the NFL, but yeah, that was where he was going to come out and show for sure, is just chucking one out.
Yeah, you get him and Xavier Worthy on the same team, you might make some fireworks happen there. Just, hey, outrun everybody. I'm going to throw it as far as I possibly can. You guys hold up for 2.5 seconds.
Joe, you could see as somebody you kind of start to like a little bit more in the offseason process of the combine versus where he was like if you run the tape with Tennessee, because he does have some accuracy issues.
Yeah,
that's just subjective. That's just subjective ball from the boy. Watching UT over the past year.
Another interesting note of the combine was there were.
What a specimen right there.
Yeah,
Sam Hartman, just an incredible looking individual.
Him on like slow-mo in his 40, just like look how
hair bouncing. Yeah, he's just a gorgeous man with the hair.
Get the commercials in ASAP.
Yeah, he's got a Head and Shoulders coming up real soon. Speaking of
the Matt Leinart of the draft, people are saying.
Yeah, well, let's hope not.
As far as looks and
yeah, I'm with that.
Sex appeal,
he's got it all.
He does have it all.
That's Sam Hartman. Hartman, he's so hot right now. Our guest today, Troy Polamalu, right? Sam needs to call Troy immediately and say, "Hey, let me talk to Head and Shoulders. Let me get on those commercials."
Yeah.
That's what I need to start doing.
Great head of hair.
What a
dime. Like, and going off of your Caleb Williams stuff too, it's like, and look, everybody, the way it trends now in the combine, guys opt out, they don't participate a whole lot, which is fine. Like, you totally get that if anything, there's risk to injury. Like, a better 40 time doesn't make or break you. So why do all that stuff? But as far as opting out of medical stuff and the interview process, like, that is the one time of the year where literally all 32 teams, GMs, front offices, coaches, everybody is in one building. So to me, it's like you want to show that competitive spirit in front of those guys.
Yeah.
Whether or not you're out there on the field performing, like, that could be whatever. Like, yeah, you might be the number 1 overall pick in the draft. But as far as checking the boxes for medical, shaking hands, like doing all the things and kind of looking like that competitor, not only a competitor, but showing off, like, your leadership intangibles.
Right.
You don't want to give off the vibe of like, this is a massive me guy and this could be a huge risk taking him this high.
Yeah, because before the season even started, it really turned into, this is with Caleb Williams' year. He's the number 1 overall pick. He should maybe sit out this final year and be done. And then USC started to lose. They were contenders at first. They started to lose. He's found crying. He's doing press conferences saying, "I just want to hug my dog and eat some Skittles," or some bullshit like that. Then it's all he wants the equity in the company. And so this year has not been a great year for Caleb Williams as far as from an opportunity to know that this guy should be the 1 overall pick, having the magnifying glass on him, and people now picking him apart for a lot of reasons, like we are on this show right now. So it might not be fair criticism. This is just how it came off to me personally, is that this guy's coming off as an eye guy.